Please note, in an effort to make this list all the more interesting, I have attempted to select only one bird from each particular family of birds to be on this list. In other words, I'm going to try to have only one owl and only one eagle, etc., etc. So let's get started on this journey. Everyone has heard of and seen all those beautiful and colorful birds that are often talked about, whether the friend who has a colorful parrot in real life, or, heck, even on a box of cereal that you walk past at the grocery store. The cute and colorful birds of this world are basically everywhere, and you hear about them all the time. But what about the birds that I consider to be on the other end of the avian spectrum? What about the creepiest and scariest looking birds on this earth? What about the birds of our world who just have this dark aura and a sinister vibe about them? Yeah? What about them, you say? Well, they do exist, and I'm quite sure that most people have not heard of or seen most of them. And that is why this list exists. And they are who we are going to go over in the next 15 minutes or so. So strap in, because here we go. As always, launching us off at the number 10 spot is the elusive and enigmatic-looking black rail. Rarely ever seen and with a bright, creepy red eye, this little bird likes to hide out in dense, marshy vegetation in the wild, with a dark plumage like the night, sometimes even appearing practically all black. You might be forgiven for mistaking this eerie-looking little thing for a raven. This little guy wouldn't be out of place at all in your typical Halloween image, with some of your classic creatures of the night and darkness. In fact, Wikipedia says that these little black rail birds often make their presence known by their voices during the night hours when they're the most vocal. And in North America, the black rail, quote, has a distinctive kiki-karar, call, or an aggressive, presumably territorial growl, unquote, when they're letting their utterances out during those dark hours of the night. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are only getting started. Come, continue on this journey with me into even more enveloping darkness. As we continue on this unique trip to see some of the spookiest and scariest looking birds in all of this world. Next up is our number 9 spot. And who are we going to find here at this 9th position of the top 10 most spooky or scary looking birds of the earth? We are going to find the interesting and fascinating southern ground hornbill. Looking like a scary version of a turkey, they have a long and pretty massive beak, as well as that turkey-like neck with all of that nastiness and blistering bare skin going on. But unlike the turkey, its distant bird relative, this particular hornbill has a unique lump on the top of its beak. But what it is used for, though, I have no idea, but perhaps it just adds to the bizarreness and creepiness of this southern ground hornbill creature. Their plumage is black, mostly black, like the night, and a very deep and dark one at that, which you're going to find to be much the same as so many of the other birds on this list. And also, a very interesting fact about these southern ground hornbills is that they can live to be a very old age for a bird and animal in general, and that impressively high number is up to 70 years in captivity. They're also actually quite the large bird, as well, being able to grow to around 4 feet in length and weighing around 8 pounds. So, as we've seen, southern ground hornbills do share a few similarities with their distant turkey relatives, like that size and that ubiquitous beak that all birds have. But I wouldn't want to eat one at Thanksgiving, though, because they just don't look too appetizing to me. I'll just continue to stick with the turkey as my number 2 go-to bird for food, and just leave the much scarier and stranger-looking southern ground hornbill to do its own thing in the wild, far, far away from me. So the southern ground hornbill was quite the interesting sight. If you want off of this ride and have had your visual and cerebral fill of these birds of darkness already, I totally understand and get you. The exit is right this way. Feel completely free to leave this quote, unquote, Willy Wonka chocolate factory at any time you so please. For the rest of you who are still here, let's continue to make our way even further into this fascinating world of the darkest or creepiest and probably least known birds of this big blue planet of ours. Continuing on, we have, next at the number 8 spot is the harpy eagle. At about a total length of 3.5 feet, harpy eagles are one of the largest living eagles in the world, as well as being one of the most powerful, with one source even saying that they are the most powerful eagles on Earth. And as if their humongous size for a bird wasn't bad news enough already, they also have that silent and stealthy flight attack that could catch you off guard and allow them to be able to dig those terrifying and massive talons of theirs into your flesh. Talons that, by the way, can grow to a terrifying length of 5 inches, the same size of those claws that are found on 800-pound grizzly bears. But what might be their creepiest and scariest feature, and the one that seems to be completely unique to them, is that when they lift those feathers of their facial disc to better direct sound waves to their listening ears, that particular act causes them to appear even more scarier and freaky than they had already been without it, sometimes making them appear some freakish and mythical human-like creature of that dense, deadly, and mysterious jungle habitat of theirs. Heck, one person on Reddit, speaking about that ultra creepy and terrifying stance that they sometimes put on, just straight up said about them that they are scary AF. Yes, they are scary AF. I'm totally with that Redditor on that one. There's plenty of things about harpy eagles to be scared of. That unnerving and bizarre humanoid-like stance that they sometimes do, that scary-looking beak of theirs that appears to have been dipped in black ink just to make them appear even more dark and sinister, as well as that formidable size and those humongous talons that could cause some ghastly injuries to our faces and bodies. So once more, there sure are plenty of things about harpy eagles to be terrified of, and that's why they made it onto this list of some of the creepiest and scariest avian animals of this big blue planet.